Swamiji, Inspector General of Police, parents and children. It is indeed a great privilege for me to be here to share a few thoughts with such a large gathering of people who have high moral values and would like to attain a good moral stature in society. I'm sure that the children who are here will benefit from the summer camp that is going to be organized by the Institute, and I'm sure they will grow up in due course of time as eminent citizens of our country. Among the thoughts that I would like to share with you is a belief on attributes. What happens is that many of us, all of us actually, are born with certain attributes. They are there in our genes. There is nothing that we can do about them. We have to live with them. We cannot become more intelligent by doing hard work or by reading extra books and so on and so forth. We are born with a certain kind of intelligence. We cannot become great artists by just painting all the time. If we do not have the knack, or if we do not have the genes for art, for music, or any one of these attributes, then however hard we work, we may not be able to attain some degree of excellence in these attributes. One prime example that I can think of immediately is Albert Einstein. I'm sure everybody has heard his name. Albert Einstein, as a student, had failed in school. And one of the reasons why he had failed in school was that he was extremely poor in mathematics. It was something that he was not born with. He could not comprehend numbers in a way that all of us could. And even when he came out with his theory of relativity, it is often said that he knew what the answer is going to be, but he did not know how to arrive at that answer because he was not a mathematician. He always claimed to be a physicist. So he would go to some friends who knew mathematics, and he would tell them that these are the basic fundamentals. This is the answer which I think we will be arriving at. Now you please tell me how to reach that answer. And his friends would do the calculations, and sure enough, the answer would be right. So there are certain things, however intelligent you may be, like Albert Einstein, there are certain things which you cannot do, there are certain things which you can do. The other attribute is that which you can acquire, and I think this is where the Institute will help all the children and it will help all the parents. We have an example of a person like Sachin Tendulkar, for example, an excellent cricketer. He had certain attributes, but how does one make use of those attributes that he has? For that he had a coach. That coach told him how to bat, how to focus on his game, how to focus on cricket. And even today, after having scored 100 centuries in cricket, which something which nobody has done before, he still goes back to the nets, he still goes back to his coach to tell him how to become a better batsman. You have artists who are born with some degree of artistry, some degree of excellence. They go to teachers, they go to gurus, they go to masters who teach them how to exploit that skill that they have and how to become great artists, how to become great musicians, and so on. So we have two kinds of attributes. One which we are born with, and those we will live with them. There are another kind of attributes, we are born with some of them, and the idea is how does one focus on those attributes, how does one derive excellence from those attributes. And that is why you have persons who become great scientists. They have a knack for it, but they try and develop that. You have persons who are great artists, great musicians, great sportsmen. You have sportsmen who go for training every day. They have masters, they have coaches. So it is for us to decide It is for us to discover what are those attributes and try to exploit them. If we are unable to discover because of our own feelings, we have our teachers, we have our gurus, we have swamis who will tell us what are those attributes and how best to derive advantage from those attributes. I think this is where the summer camp that is being held, I think this is where it will help all the children, and I'm sure it will in the long run help the parents as well. It will certainly help all the children in developing those skills, in finding out what lies within oneself and how best to take advantage of it, how best to exploit it for the benefit of the self, for the benefit of the state, for the benefit of the country, and for the benefit of the world. When I was in school, we had an excellent principal, Mr. M.N. Kapoor. He was, I think, among the first, if not among the first few academicians who was nominated to the Rajya Sabha by the Honorable President of India. Mr. Kapoor used to often tell us that the Battle of Waterloo was won on the playgrounds of Eton. Eton, of course, is a very famous school, public school in England. And the Battle of Waterloo was a watershed in British history. He used to explain to us that one of the important things which the school taught its children was discipline. That no matter what the occasion is, you have to have a certain degree of discipline. It could be in any aspect of life. It could be in several aspects of life. Punctuality is one aspect of life where you can have discipline. It is something that we can do. I'm not born punctual, I'm not born unpunctual. I can become punctual, I can become a late comer all the time. So discipline is one extremely important area which was being taught to the students in the schools in England at that point of time. And there are various attributes of discipline. It could be, like I said, punctuality. It could be focusing on the work that you are doing. It could be concentration on the work that you are doing. So all these attributes, all these various fields of discipline which were taught to the students ultimately led them to become great men who could then defeat the enemy in the Battle of Waterloo, which, like I said, became a watershed in British history. The reason why this is important for the children who are present over here, and indeed for all the children, is that once you inculcate this discipline of whatever nature, whether it is of the head, whether it is of the heart, or whether it is of the hands, once you inculcate this discipline, it is not that you are going to get the results immediately. It will take some time. School children grew up to become eminent soldiers, eminent warriors who could defeat the enemy. It took some time. It took 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. But if it starts today, if it starts right now, that we are going to have this sense of discipline in us among the children, you will see the results of this discipline, maybe after 5 years, maybe after 10 years, maybe after 15 years, but you will certainly see the results of that discipline. And I think it is extremely important that we have that kind of patience. We cannot expect children to be mature like adults overnight, merely because they have gone to a summer camp. It takes time for them to grow. It takes time for them to understand. And once we have that patience, I'm sure we will get the fruits of the summer camp and for education generally. Finally, I would like to say a few words about the duties of parents, the responsibilities of children. I know in the courts we have a very large number of cases, and unfortunately they are increasing day by day. We have a large number of courts where there are matrimonial disputes, where the husband and the wife do not get along together. There are all kinds of allegations that are made by the wife against the husband. There are all kinds of allegations that are made by the husband against the wife. There are all kinds of allegations made against the in-laws. What is the result of that? The result of that is that the husband and wife virtually destroy their happiness. But more important, they virtually destroy the lives of the children that they have given birth to. Can you imagine a child growing up in a home of this nature where day in and day out he sees his parents fighting over small issues, getting violent sometimes? Can you imagine what will happen with this child 10 years later, 15 years later? He will perhaps do the same thing that his parents were doing. So it is important, I think, for parents to realize, and this is what Swamiji had told us a short while ago. It is for the parents to realize that they have certain duties, not only towards each other, not only towards society, but more importantly towards children. If they are not able to fulfill those duties, you are going to have a society where you will have children who cannot adjust to society. You have in the newspapers, you will read about children attacking their teachers, about children attacking their fellow students, and not attacking verbally, but attacking violently, sometimes causing the death of a teacher, sometimes causing the death of a fellow student. Why does that happen? It's a very complex issue. There are several reasons why these things happen in society. But one of the reasons could be the fact that the parents have not been able to bring up the children with that kind of discipline, with that kind of moral authority which they should exercise, and that is why the children go astray. Swamiji had mentioned about literacy and education. These are two separate concepts. Yes, a person may be literate, but that does not necessarily mean that he is educated. I was in the Northeast for about a year and a half. I have been to a couple of states in the Northeast where the literacy levels are very, very high. 70%, 80%, 90%. But the people over there, or the children over there, are not educated in the sense that they cannot discriminate between right and wrong. They have problems of drugs, they have problems of violence, they have problems of killings. So literacy is not an indicator of education. What we need to do is to educate our children to become better citizens of this country and of the state. What do the children need to do? The children need to open up their mind. Education is to open up your mind. It is not like training where you have to go in a particular direction regardless of what somebody else tells you. I can train my dog to do something, but I can't educate my dog. So there is a difference between training, there is a difference between education. And it is important for children to educate themselves, to open up their minds to various thoughts, to various ideas. This can be done by reading. I'm not necessarily saying that by reading spiritual books you will become educated. That may not happen. Even by reading novels, even by reading storybooks, even by reading fables, Panchatantra and so on, you can become educated. When you read a great novel by a great novelist like, say, Charles Dickens, you will see different characters in that novel. You will see why they react in a particular way. What is society all about? What are the kinds of people that form a society? So reading any kind of book, whether it's a short story, whether it's a novel, is something that will educate you into society, into human values, into discerning what is right and what is wrong. I think the children should grow up with this feeling that they are a part of society, they are a very, very important part of society. The society is looking upon them for the future. We are here for the present, but the children are here for the future. I would request all the parents to take this program very seriously, to request your children to urge your children to take this program very seriously. It is a program of human excellence, and we need excellent human beings in this day and age. I would request the children who are here, you are the future of the country. Please take programs like this. You are fortunate to be a part of this program. Please take this program seriously. Please think about it. Please reflect. Please introspect. And I'm sure in due course of time, you will be the leaders of this country. Thank you very much, and all the best.